Hey, what's up everybody? Josh here with Terradrift, and as promised, I'm here to give an update on what I thought of the Ultra Lone Peak hikers that I picked up earlier in the year. And if you're looking for a general overview of the shoe, definitely check out my first video where I covered the specs and my initial thoughts on the boots. So first, let's talk about where I've hiked in these. I started out by doing a few hikes around Austin, where I live, but then we took off on a road trip and backpacked in Isle Royale National Park, the White Mountains in New Hampshire, and we did some significant day hikes in Acadia, Shenandoah, Great Smoky Mountains National Parks, as well as Baxter State Park way up in Maine, so lots of rocky terrain. We had to do some scrambling in some areas. Sometimes we'd be scrambling up slippery wet rock, and then other times we'd be hiking fairly level terrain, but it would be like 100% mud. So we hiked pretty much the gamut. So all that said, as you can see, I've definitely put some miles on these. These are absolutely filthy, and I'll be cleaning them very soon. Now, when hiking in these, I wore a single pair of synthetic socks. Normally, I would wear a liner sock or double up on socks just to help avoid blistering, but I never needed it in these. Even on multi-day backpacking trips, I had no issues with hot spots or pressure points, which I was a little surprised by, but I literally just laced them up and went, and they performed amazingly well. Even when wet, I had no issues. The inside of the boot does get wet fairly easily in rain or in shallow water crossings. This is not a waterproof model, but if you are hiking on a warm day, these are going to dry out relatively quickly. You could always use some water-resistant spray if you want a little protection. If you do want a waterproof model, Altra does sell waterproof versions of the Ultra Lone Peak. We'll throw a link in the description below for you to check them out. And as far as walking on wet terrain goes, you're about on par or slightly better than the competitors' shoes that I've tested recently, like Vask and Zero shoes. But the reason I really like these boots is that it lets your foot move around naturally. The big toe box lets you splay your toes for comfort and stability, and the sole is flexible enough to let you stand on a rocky knife edge and feel totally stable, which is great when you're doing things like crossing a stream and you're trying to keep your feet dry. This also means they're not overbuilt like a lot of backpacking boots, which is both a pro and a con. The pro is you have that comfort and flexibility, and they're extremely lightweight, but the con is that there really isn't much protection for your foot if you get it, say, jammed between some rocks, or you hit the side of your foot, or you stub your toe. I also ran into issues like my toes hitting the front of the boot when going down steep grades, but it wasn't anything serious enough for me to stop wearing them. Now, I will say that kind of is my fault because I did get my regular shoe size in these. Normally, you'd want to go up a half or a whole size when shopping for hiking boots, so that could definitely play into that issue for me. Regardless of those issues, I'd much rather wear these than a hot, heavy, overbuilt boot that's probably going to make my foot sore by the end of the day. Now, I will say I don't expect this boot to last as long as a big, clunky boot, especially when it comes to backpacking. That's kind of just the nature of it. It's made of softer, more flexible materials. For instance, you can see from the rocky terrain, some of the foam on the front is starting to fray a little bit. It's nothing serious, but it is a sign that these probably won't last quite as long as a big clunky boot. So despite any mild drawbacks, I would 100% recommend these because they let your feet move more naturally, and you're going to enjoy more overall comfort, balance, and natural movement. Now, I will say these are zero drop, so if you're not used to that, if you're used to a lot of arch support, these might feel a little strange at first, but I've been wearing zero drop and barefoot shoes for a while now, and so they felt very natural. All that said, if you want to check these out for yourself, I'll drop a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video or found it useful in any way, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions about the Lone Peak hikers, drop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. And if you'd like to see more stellar Terradrift content, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Terradrift, and visit our website terradrift.com for the latest deals on gear, interviews with your favorite brands, destinations, and much, much more. Thanks for watching. Now lace up those boots, head up your nearest mountain, and wander on. I wonder if I can you think I can moonwalk in these? How do you moonwalk again? Is it like do 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 do? Is that's probably the wrong song too, isn't it? What song does he moonwalk on? I don't know. Is it like that? Is that right? Oh wow, these really need cleaned. I'm gonna go do that now.